Greetings. I'm Professor Ross Rice, and you have found the Songwriting Workshop. It's going to be an interesting experiment on campus this semester. We're going to be trying to do this all together and be on campus. And I just want to say I appreciate your being here. I'm looking forward to having you in person. Wasn't really looking forward to doing this whole thing online. Let's see if we can make this work. I'm hoping we can make a great class out of this, regardless of the situation with COVID. So, where do we start? Best place to start is with the syllabus. So I want to make sure that you visit the WebEx space. This is where we're going to be getting a lot of our stuff. I'm going to be putting stuff on LMS, but really want to keep it mostly with WebEx because that's a bit more immediate. So check out the syllabus. It's going to tell you the things you need to know about this course, and it's also going to be sort of our little contract. Also, there is a schedule that's in there that you can go ahead and bring into your schedule. I'll be posting that schedule again later, but no time like the present. So anyways, so let's talk about some FAQs, if you will, about this class. What is this class? Okay, in a nutshell, we are going to be getting together and we're going to be talking about aspects of songwriting and listening to songs and playing songs for each other, and you will be writing or participating in writing 10 songs over the semester. You will be critiquing people's songs. Your songs will be critiqued. You will also at some point be choosing a songwriter to write a paper about, a songwriter of interest to you, and you want to sort of maybe find out a little bit more about their mojo. You'll get into it, do a quick paper on it, nothing huge, but something substantial, and then present that to the class, and so we can all sort of share some of our favorite songwriters and get to know some interesting artists that we're not familiar with. You're going to be also choosing a song and doing a presentation on that song, using PowerPoint or Keynote or whatever you need to use. Taking that song, breaking it down, showing us how that song is constructed, showing how it works, and explaining to us why it works, why it has a significance to you. Then there's a book that we're going to be reading throughout the semester called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. It's a really interesting book. It has a week-by-week program that we're going to follow along with. And there's a couple of easy exercises that go along with that we'll be doing on a weekly basis. That's really about it. So that kind of gets us to the next question. What's a song? For this class, we will define the song as the symbiosis of words plus music. Now, I know a lot of folks like to write songs that have no words and are just instrumental. I love instrumentals. I have nothing against that. That's more of a composition kind of thing, though. And so I'm going to sort of just kind of stick to the basic idea that a song is words and music. The words don't necessarily have to have a lot going on. I mean, you can make up words. You can sing in any language you want, your native language or somebody else's language, whatever you want to do, however you want to express yourself. The music doesn't necessarily have to be, full-on band stuff. You can just have a single note. It can be a beat. It can be a melody. You can just sing a cappella for the demos. We do need to make demos, of course, of these songs so we can hear them. We're not going to be able to perform them for each other, unfortunately, so we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. The song doesn't have to be of any set length, except for later when I ask for certain lengths. But for the most part, you can write me a 30-second tune. You can write me a 5-minute tune. You can write me a 10-minute tune. Whatever you're comfortable writing with. If we start talking about 10 seconds, 15 seconds, I'm going to start kind of wondering why you're here. But we'll work out that stuff later. It just needs to have some kind of a structure and just some sort of a definition. I mean, I'm not looking for someone just sitting down and jamming for a while and then recording that and saying, hey, here's my song. Although you can jam for a while and record it and make a song. That's not to say that you couldn't do that, but I think you understand what I mean. I just want there to be some spark of intention in what we are calling a song, words and music. Okay, here's another question that a lot of people ask. Who am I to be teaching this class, listening to your songs, to be teaching even at RPI probably? Well, I'm just a guy that actually did this for a living for a while. About 30 plus years. I've had some varying degrees of success and unsuccess, as the music business will be that way. But I did survive and have a great time and bought a house and had kids and did all kinds of stuff, as a professional musician and songwriter for 35 years. So I guess that's something. I do have some kind of an informed opinion that I can share with you. You also have my attention, and I'm going to give you my best advice with my full attention, and I'm going to try to give you as much information as you can possibly use to write songs and to improve your songwriting and to move forward in your art, because that's really what this is all about. So, what do you need for this class? Well, first of all, I do need you to make demos of your songs. So that's going to mean I need you to not be afraid of doing that. I'm well aware that you're probably not a professional musician. Some of you are probably really good singers. I've had some really great singers in some of these classes. I've had some folks that didn't know they were good singers that found out that they were. And I've had some people that weren't that very good singers, but they made great demos, and I understood exactly what they were saying. And it really just came down to just not worrying about it and just doing it and being yourself and expressing yourself. So we're all going to be doing this in this class. There's no reason to feel any fear about this. So just put it out there. We got 20 of us that are putting it out there every time, every week. Don't worry about your demo. Don't be too hung up about the performance. I'm not looking for an incredible demo. I've had some folks in the past that make some very, very well layered, very designed demos. They spend a lot of time on it. You don't have to spend that much time on it. But if you want to, hey, I'm not going to stop you. I like really cool demos too. So go as far with this as you want to go. But really, we're going to be listening to the song, not the singer, not the demo so much. We're listening to the song. And we're going to be giving each other that kind of respect. So no fear, please. All right. What you also need is some way to make that demo. Your phone probably has a lot of ways to do it. You can look for some apps that are available. The microphones on phones are getting better all the time, and you can actually do some pretty good recordings. We'll talk about some programs that are available and some free apps you can get a little bit later. That you can do even little real easy sequencing and beatboxing, whatever you need to do. I'm not looking for the highest quality demos or going to be grading in any way the quality of the demo. Not going to happen. I just want you to do your best to get it down. We're going to be talking about Audacity. It's a free and user-friendly recording app that you can get that's really super easy to use, and you can actually do a little bit of multi-tracking on your computer using your computer microphone. Basically what I'm going to need you to be able to do is to create a WAV or AAC or MP3 file and be able to send it, as well as a lyric sheet. Again, it doesn't have to be really complicated or great, but if you want it to be complicated and great, I like that. Doesn't matter to me. So we're going to be meeting as a full class via WebEx, and that's where the course material is going to be made available also in LMS. So you do need to have access to that RPI WebEx system from whatever location you're going to be at. If you decide that you're not going to be on campus and going to be going remote, then we'll definitely need to have you in sync with us on the internet. Also, just want to make sure you get the book. You have to get the book, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. You can get a Kindle, you can get a hard copy, and then I need you to get a dedicated notebook, because one of the things we're going to be doing is on a daily basis, I'm going to just have you write down 3 pages of stuff every day. Doesn't matter what it is. You can just say, I so don't want to write this down today. I so don't want to write this down today. Doesn't matter. You can even draw pictures of things, whatever. Doodle for 3 pages. But this is part of the process of The Artist's Way that Julia Cameron espouses in her book. And I think it's a pretty good idea. It's a good way to sort of help open up the flow. And it's just a way for you to sort of get loose. I'm never going to see these pages, so don't worry about it. But just make sure you have a dedicated notebook for that. So let's talk a little bit about songwriting. We talked a little bit about what a song is, but what do I mean about songwriting? What's my take on that? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'll tell you all about it. Here's the thing about songwriting, okay? I think all songs are good. So you're probably going to get tired of me saying, hey, this is a good song. But I really do think that pretty much every song is good, because everybody who writes a song has something good that they're feeling, something they feel good about enough to put it down and record it. So, and that's the case, then there's a kernel of that. I personally think that all songs start from that point of being good. I don't like calling a song bad unless it's like, hey man, that song is bad, man. That's a bad song. I might say that, but I don't. I'm going to start from that basic premise that your song is good because you spent some time on it, you thought about it, you felt good about something, and it came from you. So we start from that place. And then once we take that, when we have degrees of goodness, for me, there are really good, there's great, there's amazing. There's also songs that are less good, songs that are this close, songs that almost, songs that are obviously pretty good, but are hard to like them. There are levels of quality to songwriting, and how do we define that? That's a good question, because that's kind of what we're going to try to get into over the course of this semester. How do we define those levels of quality in a song? Because let's face it, I can write the greatest song in the world. I'm pretty sure it's the greatest song in the world, and I put every bit of effort into it, and I write everything right, and I do everything I know is working, and it's all great, and I can play it for you, and you go, I hate it. But it doesn't mean it's not a great song, but you don't like it. There's taste involved. So we're not going to not deal with taste so much. I want you to have your taste. I don't want you to change your taste. I want you to keep an open mind. But the thing is that we're going to try to really sort of figure out if we can find out what quality is, and then see if we can't lift that quality in our own work. So that's, my critique's always going to start with a good song, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's good. I'm going to explain to you what I'm seeing, and I'm going to give you my observations about what I see in your song and how I'm responding to it, what it does for me. And then I'm going to have some advice about how to make it better. Unless, of course, it's so amazing that all I can do is just bow down and genuflect in your direction. And you know what? That might very well happen. I have good taste too. So, and sometimes I'm absolutely dazzled by what people do in this class. It's really pretty surprising when it gets down to it. And I'm looking for good things from you too. Let's talk a bit about my opinion, though. I mean, I'm going to be giving you my opinion. I'll give it regularly on every song you write. But you know what? Guess what? That's just my opinion. My opinion is mine. And you don't have to listen to it. And you don't have to change anything about your songs. When anybody tells you to change anything about your songs, you don't have to do it. You can just sort of nod and smile and say, yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you, and don't do anything. That's always your prerogative. It's always good, though, to listen to what people have to say about your stuff. And if you get enough sort of information from different people and you start realizing a lot of them are saying the same things, you might, pick up some things about it. But there's no better way to have a mirror about the work you're doing than to have a bunch of like-minded individuals who are caring and you are trustworthy to give you their personal feedback about your work. And you can do whatever you want with that. I know I'm not always right. There's times that I make a comment. Sometimes I just sort of say the first thing that's off my head about what you're doing. And then you might look at me and go, well, that's just full of shit. And I might have to backpedal a little bit. But at the same time, I'm thinking about it, and I might be right. You can do whatever you want with the critiques of others. Sometimes it can be useful, and sometimes it really isn't. You're not going to be expected to take anybody's criticism in this class and change your music for any reason, especially from me. One thing that will happen is that as your songwriting gets better, you might find that I actually have more to say about things. All of a sudden, you're getting better. All of a sudden, I'm saying more negative things about your song, and you're going, wait a minute. How can I be getting better if you're saying more negative stuff? Hey, I got news for you. If I'm saying more negative stuff about your songs, you're doing better. You're improving. So don't worry about it. So here's the other thing. You're going to be giving your opinion to other people. In fact, in your groups, you're going to be doing it immediately with your groups, but you're also going to be giving your opinion to other members of the class. You're going to have 5 students in your group. We will need you to give at least 5 criticisms outside of your group. You can give criticisms to everybody in the group and get extra points, and if you do good criticism and insightful commentary, guess what? I kind of give extra points for that stuff. So if you can check in on these tunes and other people's tunes and sort of say, hey, great song, or hey, I really liked that one thing. But if you sort of get into it and say, hey, and sort of talk about it and get into it and get about 3 or 4 sentences into it, that's I tend to get more points for that, just so you know. So if you're feeling like you're not getting enough points, that's a good way to get some back. Here's the thing though, I need you to be kind with your comments, and really most people are. I know most of us give the kind of comments that we would want to be getting back, and that's almost always the case. I also don't want you to shy away from being helpfully critical, because sometimes I'll go through this and we'll have somebody play a tune and people just say yeah, and nobody has anything to say about it. And you can still say something nice, but you can also be useful. Find something that you can tell this person that they can really use. It's like, hey, this is working here, but this section here, maybe if you might reconsider, this thing here, and then that person can use that. This is a really good place and a time in this course to get in the habit of working with other creative people and to give them positive and necessary criticism. This is some good practice for that. So, even if you have your own personal tastes. So, anyways, that's about it. Well, I got to say about opinions. So, one of the first questions I usually get with this course when we get the first day, and someone will usually raise their hand and say, hey, can we cuss in this class? Can we write songs with some cuss words in them and stuff? Can we, can we do can we say motherfucker and stuff like that? And the answer to that is yes, of course. We're writing songs. I mean, how many songs do we have right now? I mean, there's probably 5 hits with motherfucker in it, so I mean, we can do that. Hopefully nobody is extremely offended by that particular term. But for the most part, yeah, you can sort of use your language freely in this class. You can use the language, whatever dialect or whatever you feel comfortable using. You don't even have to have music for your songs. You just have a single voice. You have that freedom. But I want you to have some respect for your classmates. Show some respect. Sometimes we do like to play with language, and sometimes we feel like some of us have ownership of some words that we can use for other people that we really don't have ownership over. And I think you folks know what I'm talking about, this kind of thing. We're talking about cultural awareness from between people. So I really am going to have a problem with misogyny, any kind of racism, any kind of a triggering abusive language that happens, and if it sort of happens sort of accidentally, if you're not really trying to do it, I'll sort of let you know, just say, hey, I don't think this is going to be cool. If you kind of think it might offend somebody in your class, if you look around your class and you see we have a diverse makeup of different kinds of people, and you writing a lyric and you're pretty sure that lyric's going to offend that person over there, please reconsider. I don't want to be the one to say, hey, don't write your song, don't write that lyric, don't sing that. I don't want to be that person. And I think you know what I mean when I'm saying this. I'm not a censor, but at the same time, I'm going to protect people in this classroom, and I'm not going to allow people to be abusive in any way, and I'm not going to allow people to be abused. So be cool. I know you will be. Everybody always is, but I have to say that. It's an important message I want to make sure you think about when you're writing these songs. Getting back into the book that we're going to be looking at, which is The Artist's Way. Listen, I was looking around. I was trying to find some books about songwriting, and it's kind of a desert out there when it comes to that stuff. I have to tell you, because you start really getting into it, you realize a lot of people are into songwriting for the money-making aspect of it, the commercial aspect of it. They're really trying to get into Nashville and getting some kind of a publishing deal where they can, be making some nice money writing songs for hits and for artists, and thinking about that way of doing things. Maybe you're one of those people. If that's the case, we can talk. I can help you with that sort of thing. But I'm kind of thinking most of you just want to write cool songs or write cool raps or do some cool things with what you're doing. You just would rather sort of have a personal improvement with this. So I picked this book out because it's been around for a long time, and it's used by a lot of artists in a lot of different mediums. The writer is more of a screenplay writer. The things that she talks about are all the things that we always talk about as creative people, and that is really the importance of creating a creative space for ourselves in our lives and maintaining it. Creating that well of creativity in our lives, we can draw from that and do amazing things with all of the different things that we do in our life, with different disciplines that we operate in. The book has its own set of exercises at the end of each chapter, and some of them are really good. I highly recommend following her regimen along with this class and incorporating some of these exercises that she does. It takes maybe an hour or 2 hours a week, I believe, to do this. But they're pretty good exercises, so if you want to incorporate that, please do. They're not assigned in the class. You don't have to do them. But if you do them, that could be enriching to you. It's up to you. The two things from the book that we will be doing is, number one, what Cameron refers to as the morning pages. And that means you're going to have a notebook, and every day, at some point during the day, or whenever you want to do it, you're just going to fill 3 pages with whatever. Words, drawings, thoughts. You're just going to use those pages. You're just going to let it loose for a while. And stuff that no one ever has to see, ever have to read. You don't even have to read these things again. It's just an act of writing, of just unblocking yourself so that you have sort of a stream of consciousness that you can sort of apply later to the rest of the week. If you can do this on a daily basis, this can really help you get into the flow of creating your songs. I'm not going to look at the content of these notebooks, but I am going to ask you to bring these notebooks occasionally to class so I can verify that you are doing this. So you just show me a book with a bunch of stuff in it. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to look at it. Just show me that you've got a lot of printed sheets and we're good. And then the other exercise that comes with this is called the artist date. And that's just a short amount of time every week that you just sort of indulge your inner artist child. There's a couple of things that she suggests that you can do for your artist day, but this is just something to treat yourself every week and just have a little fun to help, again, to put you into creative states, to allow you to sort of access that inner, creative spirit that you have inside of you at all times that a lot of times it just ain't getting much play. So we're going to try to help you access that in this class. All right, so how are we going to do this class this semester? Glad you asked. Thanks to COVID, we can't meet all together in our assigned room, which is West 214. We only get 6 people per class and permitted in there. I'm not really sure why that is, but that's how it is. So we're going to divide our class into 4 groups, A, B, C, and D. And we can even name those groups some cool names later if you want to. I'll leave that up to you. A, B, and C, and D are kind of, whatever. Anyways, we're going to be meeting in the room at West 214 every 2 weeks. I'm going to be selecting those groups very soon. I'm going to be doing that based on your questionnaire responses, which we'll talk about in a minute because I need you to fill out the questionnaire. These class meetings, we're going to spend our time listening to the songs you've been writing, commenting on that, discussing that, also listening to other songs. Those are going to be discussion and comments, and we're going to just try to use those times to sort of share knowledge, information, take advantage of our physical space to be in together. The lectures that I'm going to be doing are not going to be in the classes. I'm not going to do lectures with you in these environments. I'm going to be putting those up on WebEx, and they're going to be also linked via YouTube. So you shouldn't have too much trouble getting those if you can get a link to YouTube. We do have some online students in this class, and some folks that are going to be based off campus, so I want to make sure we can get all that stuff to you. So we're not going to try to do lectures in the classrooms. The songwriter papers and song presentations, those will be presented on WebEx on the due dates for the entire class. And I'm also looking forward to people making comments and checking out each other's favorite songwriters and songs. When you all of a sudden get to hear all of your classmates' favorite stuff, it's really enlightening. You really hear some amazing stuff when we do that. The songs need to be turned in on time. I'm going to be taking points off for every day that is late. That will affect your grade, so don't do that. Just put it on the due dates for the songs. Let's get them in on time. If there's a problem that week, I am very sympathetic. I'm a loving person. I'm cool. Let's just do stuff on time. You also need to post your demo on WebEx as well as your PDF, TXT, or your Word doc of your lyrics so we can see the lyrics, hear the music. Here's one thing I want to mention though, and that is a lot of times people sort of going, I just don't have the time to write songs. All of a sudden you realize when you got a song a week and you're also doing physics and all this other stuff, all of a sudden the time gets away from you. And I get that. I totally do. But you know what? Those last minute songs, 15 minutes before a class, that you just sort of pull out your wazoo, man, just before you get into class and just sort of zip them out, wham, 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 boom, done. Sometimes those are really good songs. So I don't care how you do it. I don't care how much time you spend on the song. If it takes 3 minutes, if it takes 5 hours. I'm going to give you a lot of respect for the 5 hours, but if you come up with a 3-minute tune that works, that's cool. Don't show up in class empty-handed without a song. That's all I'm trying to say. You can do this. It doesn't have to be the greatest thing in the world. Write me a song a week. Let's talk a little bit about this COVID business. I don't want to get it. I don't want you to get it. Let's not get this thing, folks. I know it's kind of crazy. We're trying to do this on campus right now, but we are in the state of New York, which is gives us a fighting chance because in this general area there just isn't that much pathogen. So I think we're fairly safe. But I still, please, I want you to be safe. Watch out for each other. Wear masks. Socially distance. Wash hands. Do all that stuff, please. I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be keeping my outside contact to a minimum. I'm curtailing my crazy lifestyle for you, so please do me a favor and be safe out there. We can get through this together. There's a lot of pressure on you to make this succeed, and there's a lot of pressure on us to do it too, as faculty too. It really kind of sucks, but I got faith in you guys, so let's make this work together. All we can just do is our best, is to, do these things that seem to be working so far. So please, let's not be the ones that screw it up, okay? That's all I'm trying to say. What do you need to do for the next class? Number 1, read the syllabus. I want you to take note of the general due dates that are coming up, incorporate those into your schedule. See what's going to be expected for you to get this top grade in a class. It's not that hard to get an A in this class, but it's also kind of easy to not get an A in this class if you decide not to. So that's really up to you. I want you to buy the book, Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, Kindle, hard soft cover, and read the introduction just to sort of find out more about these morning pages. And I'd like you to get started on the morning pages soon. I want you to fill out the questionnaire. I need to know more about you so I can put together 4 awesome groups of people. I'm going to try to put together groups of people that are copacetic and also just a little spicy. So I need to know a little bit more about you to make that happen. I need you to respond in WebEx to make sure that we know that you're there, that you're picking up on the information. And I need you to check in on WebEx on a regular basis. Pretty much whenever there's a class period time, if you're not in class at 4:40 on a Monday or Thursday, check WebEx. Just make that a part of your habit, and then everything will be cool. I want you to start thinking about your songwriter and your song that you're going to do the paper and the presentations about. Who rocks your world? Or who do you just want to find out more about? Who have you just recently discovered? You just like, this is a great opportunity to really dig in and find out about someone and get a grade doing it. And then if you don't have one already, see if you can get a good recording app for your phone or your iPad or your tablet or your computer. Just something that you can do some kind of easy recording. I just need you to have some sort of recording environment. It doesn't have to be the greatest, but it just has to be something where I can understand what you're singing. That's the one criteria that I'm looking for. I want understandability as much as possible. Okay, well that's pretty much all I've got for this first video. And the next video we're going to start talking about lyrics. So we're going to talk about words and music. Might as well start with the words, right? All right, everybody, have a great week. We'll see you soon.